I feel guilty and shameful every day about all the time I've wasted. All my friends are ahead of me in every way possible. I could have been there as well, but I wasted my time smoking weed, watching Netflix, playing video games, and eating junk food. I could have been way ahead, but I got sidetracked, mainly due to smoking weed and not giving a fuck about life after smoking. For example, yesterday I was home at 15 hours after work, began smoking until bedtime at effectively half 11. I do this on a daily basis instead of spending time working on myself, reading books, exercise, doing groceries, cleaning my room, etc. I spend it being high as fuck. I get up, eat breakfast, go to work, come home, order junk food, smoke weed, go to bed, repeat. Now, I read this and I could relate with it in certain ways, not with the whole smoking weed part, but with what I would call a guilt hangover. And this is something which I had felt in the past, or when I would get myself into ruts where even though I knew I was doing a bad habit and kept doing it, I couldn't seem to stop. And every single morning when I wake up, I would feel just this immense amount of guilt, as in this guilt hangover. Now, this video isn't about to say how you should overcome this and, to give you the secret to it, because this is something I'm still working out. But it's something which I'm seeing a lot online where just guys are really struggling with guilt. Guilt for lost time, guilt for actions which they regret, guilt for the things they did and didn't do. And I think with my experience with guilt, I found that, yeah, obviously everyone's life is different. You might have done more things to perhaps feel more guilty of. But at the same time, it's like the guilt doesn't serve you, right? It really doesn't. And if you continue being guilty, for example, in my case, feeling guilty perhaps of lost time, then that's something that is just going to ruin you, right? Just going to tear you down and beat you up for the things that you can't change. And I think I found as a guy, when it comes to guilt, I might often feel the guilt of, perhaps not making the most of my time, perhaps not, being able to turn up the way I want to every day. Or maybe I look back at the past and I think I didn't really do the thing I wanted to do when I set out to do it. And so, what is it that I'm doing now? Well, what I'm doing now is I'm trying to be more intentional with my actions and trying to start small, right? And you'll hear that sometimes, but it really is about just starting small, right? Where if you want to improve your health, you don't need to necessarily throw yourself into the gym, right? You could literally, as a guy, just start doing press ups, maybe pull ups, or even just going for walks. Like, you don't need to make it crazy, but just make those micro commitments, right? That, I think, for me, really made a difference. Making micro commitments, towards myself so that I could start trusting myself again, so that I could start actually making progress no matter how small it was. And you can decide if you want to share this stuff publicly or not. But for me, it was just making those micro commitments. And for example, right, with making these videos, it's like I just started making like a video a day, or I think I started actually doing it once a week. Right. And then obviously as I got into it and as I enjoyed it, I sort of just kept doing it and doing more of it. But yeah, I think it's just like there are things in the past that I can say, oh, I regret this or I regret not doing this. And the issue is obviously when you see other people's lives and they tell you what they did, back when they were your age, and you think, well, I just wasted time then. But you can't do things right. You can't always do things right. And although it might look like some people also have, their life sorted out maybe on the surface, there's often other things that they're not showing as well. So really what this video is just really about is to say to other guys that, look, whatever shame or guilt that you are feeling, perhaps you are currently going through a bit of a guilt hangover where every morning or every time you wake up, you just feel this just horrible feeling in your gut that perhaps you're wasting time, you're not where you want to be, perhaps you feel a bit like a failure. Like, just start making micro commitments to yourself, right? Don't try and do something ridiculous. I mean, you can if you want to, and that could work out. But for me, I found making micro commitments toward the person I want to be, right? If it means getting up at a certain time, if it means doing this little thing, even if it's 15, 20 minutes or whatever it might be, I think being able to trust myself a bit more, making those commitments, those promises to myself, no matter how small, made the biggest difference for me. And now I feel like I'm in a better position in terms of my mental health and in terms of what I'm working towards, all because I've been able to start making the right micro commitments. So hopefully you found this video useful. If any of this relates, do let me know. But that said, take care.